Welcome. It's
welcome to welcome everybody.
Oh my God, that's a hilarious bit. Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome.
Long time, huh? Welcome back to Run Button, the show.
It's Tuesday.
No, you go. No, you go.
It's Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. We're here for, was the last snooze that we did with John, that was still in the new year, right?
Yes, it was. We just didn't mention it because we didn't care.
Yeah, right. Well, we did mention it. We still didn't care. Second snooze of 2021. My mouth got operated on last week, and that's why we weren't here. And now we are. I'm standing up this week, Keith. I'm up on my feet.
We're late. This is a new kind of snooze. This is one where we kept hitting it.
This is when we hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some days it's the snooze button because we get up early. We have our alarm set. We get up early and we do the show. And sometimes it's the snooze button because we don't sleep at night and we're too tired to do it. We do it at 4.
In theory, I usually don't sleep more than 5 or 6 hours, and I had more than that ready in front of me when I went to sleep last night. But you know that feeling, you wake up, and the moment you open your eyes, just from the way you feel and the quality of the air, just like the smell of everything, you're just like, it's too late.
No, not today.
I woke up late, yeah. And of course, I look over at my phone and it says 12:30, and I'm like, ooh, that's 90 minutes past the start of the show. I guess snooze button didn't happen, or it didn't happen with me by any, whatever.
Yeah, that's always the gamble. Hey, sometimes we just postpone it. Sometimes we're like, fuck it, I'll do it without the other half, whatever. Today, I looked at the time. I texted you because I hadn't heard from you yet. You didn't respond. And
didn't call me.
I'm going back to fucking bed.
Didn't call me.
No, didn't call you. I didn't call you. Very intense. If I called you, you might have picked up.
Right.
It's like, why don't you go back to bed? I didn't want to.
Oh, so you just realized
ready to do the show.
You realized your boss wasn't there to make you go to work, and so you went back to bed.
Yeah. So if you had responded, I was ready to go.
Right.
But since you didn't respond, I was like, well, I'm not going to try any harder to do this. I'm exhausted, and I'm still tired. I made
unemployment.
I made some coffee right before, in the minutes before we went live. I made some coffee, but it wasn't very good, so I took 2 sips and dumped it.
I have coffee. I've got coffee here, and I don't know if you heard me. I'm standing up.
Are you doing standing desk?
I'm doing well, it's not standing desk. I'm just doing standing mic.
Standing mic. Okay.
I did this a couple times with Dabble before that crashed and burned. Before I crashed.
You did it a couple times on Run Button too.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay.
I think so. You definitely have mentioned it to me.
Well, standing mic is great. But when you get laid off on your birthday and you tweet about it and you put a wig head stand on your Amazon wish list, and then someone who's really nice buys it for you for your birthday. But then when it comes in, it only screws on to the bottom part of the mic stand. And so you have to disassemble your only mic stand to make a wig stand. And then you don't ever put it back together. And then you finally get around to buying a new one months and months later. When you do that, I did that. So.
I've never been laid off.
Congratulations.
You know that I have I think I have 2 extra mic stands here, unless you took one of them, and that's what you meant by finally bought another one, is that you took one of the extra mic stands I have here last time you were over or something.
No. No. But I just kept forgetting. Because I think, or what was it? It was like, oh, that's right. For months and months, I didn't have a desk. I didn't have a desk for a couple years. I didn't have a desk, and so I used a freestanding mic. And so I moved back to the desk mic for a while, but my current desk is too low, and that
Sometimes I
desk
feel like
arm
it was a
doesn't reach
mistake
up.
to leave behind the freestanding tripod mic stand.
We were so eager to get rid of them, and they definitely have their drawbacks, but they're kind of, they definitely have their uses. Right now, I have to, I have to counterbalance it with my messenger bag on the back. That's a Complex Rocket special for you. Because otherwise,
I remember that from like 9 years ago. Wow.
Yeah. So there it is.
That's so funny. Yeah, the benefit of the clamp mic, the clamp boom mic, with the articulating arms, is like I can put my microphone in a 1x1x1 cube anywhere in this 3D space.
Right.
Really easily.
Yeah.
But it is kind of annoying to have clamped on my desk, and it like gets in the way of where I actually want to put the mixer. It picks up bangs on the desk in a way that a freestanding mic stand wouldn't. And I guess those are really the two drawbacks.
Yeah.
But it kind of just sucks to have it like here all the time.
Yeah, to me the only drawback is, as you said, the clamp is in the way. So currently the only way I have it is I have two drawers in front of my desk, but one of them is just always open by 1.5 inches because that's where the clamp is.
Yeah, I used to have that same thing. Now I have it on the other side, thankfully, and it acts kind of like a nice little doorstop when my door opens. It bangs into the mic stand in a way it prevents it from banging into my desk. So it's kind of a win-lose. But actually, the other problem with this is that there has never been an easy way for me to speak into this mic stand at this house.
True. Yeah.
But that hasn't been a problem basically all year. So.
Yeah, awkwardly shaped office you got.
Yeah. Which I might be leaving behind. I might be leaving this place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my landlord called me and was like, "Hey, I think I'm selling the house," or was like, "I'm definitely selling the house, and you definitely have to leave." I'm definitely selling the house, and you definitely have to leave unless you buy it.
Unless you buy it, right? Yeah.
Right. And then he was like, "Do you want to buy it? Like, I'll definitely sell it to you." And I'm like, "I can't do that." He's a nice guy. One of his reasons for not wanting to, wanting to sell the house is like, I don't want to live in that house anymore. Like, I used to want to live there again eventually, and also I don't want to be a landlord. Which fair. But this is the position that you put yourself in when you're a landlord, is that you have to kick someone out of their house during a pandemic because you don't want to do it anymore. So I definitely can't afford a down payment as is. He doesn't, I don't think he knows this yet, or maybe he just hopes that I don't know it, but I am covered under rent because under my lease, because my Rhode Island has an automatic lease renewal. If the landlord does not explicitly say, "I am not renewing your lease," it gets renewed automatically. So I believe I'm covered until the end of October, which means that he either can't sell the house in May like he wants to, like he wants me out by like April or May. Either he can't do it and has to wait until October, or he has to buy me out of the lease.
And then if he has to buy you out of the lease, then perhaps gives you a down payment.
Right, exactly. And he was like, well, I won't say another thing, but he basically was like, "I'll give you a deal." So who knows?
Yeah.
I will either be the reason this becomes an interesting prospect is that like I'm paying $1,000 a month for this place. Any place that I move to is gonna be like $1,400 a month, which is a huge increase.
What are you paying?
And $1,000. So
to get together
pretty much
for the whole thing.
For the whole thing, this whole house is $1,000 a month.
That's amazing.
Right. Well, he bought this house foreclosed for $25,000 years and years ago. He hasn't had a mortgage in years. He fixed it up himself to eventually live here. And then went through like a bad breakup and was like, "I don't want to live in that house anymore." And it was empty for a while.
Oh, it was a breakup?
It was a breakup. Yeah, he broke up with his with his like long-term girlfriend.
Oh, for some reason I had remembered it as she died, and I thought you just weren't bringing it up out of respect.
No. They broke up. I don't know. He was like she went crazy. That's a thing that a lot of guys say.
Right.
But he did tell me recently that she tried to break into his apartment. So maybe she did go crazy.
Well, maybe. Well, I mean, we say this word all the time. We probably shouldn't, or we definitely shouldn't. But crazy is not a great word to say. But yeah, someone who's gonna
on the fucking planet is crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
And look, well, you've got people with like crippling depression, anxiety, being like, oh, someone might be offended if I say crazy. And
yeah, forget it. I know, right? Well, okay. In the spirit of that sentiment, then I would just say if someone's crazy enough to break into their ex's apartment, they were probably always that way, or at least they were that way when you met them. So
yeah.
No one ever accounts for their questionable taste in partners, right? It's always like, I don't know why this person I chose to involve myself with deeply is now suddenly, untrustworthy and wants to attack me.
Yeah. Anyway, end of the story is he decided he doesn't want to live here anymore after being like, well, maybe one day I'll want to live back in this house that I fixed up.
Sure.
And so, like, if I can get the buyout on the rent as a down payment, then it might literally be cheaper to buy this house than try and find somewhere else to rent, because everywhere is so expensive. Like, my last place when I was in Pawtucket was $1,200 a month, and that was like in Rhode Island, not that hard to find. Fast forward a few years, and those places that were $1,200 are now like $1,600, and it's just like, what? I'm going to move to Woonsocket? No, I'm not going to move to Woonsocket.
You can move up to Somerville.
No, I can't move to Somerville.
Okay, dang.
There's nothing. I mean, yeah, I can move up to Somerville if I wanted to spend $2,000 a month, or like $2,200 a month.
Well, you just have to get 2 roommates.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not moving. I'm not moving us and our 2 cats.
How old is Cricket?
Cricket's 9.
Okay.
Cricket's 9. Oscar is like 13. Another good reason to not move, because when you move with an old cat, they die.
Oh no.
Yeah. Also, Squiggle's here.
Oh, Squiggle is there.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah. Every time you tweet a picture of Squiggle, I die a little bit in a good way.
He's like weirdly popular on my. I mean,
he's a fucking star.
He deserves it.
Yeah,
but it's so funny. Like, not like this is the greatest performing tweets of all time, but like I'll post like a half-assed picture of Squiggle taken through a window, and it'll get 250 likes on it.
Yeah,
like if I post a picture of my cats, they're lucky to get 100.
Well, I mean,
like the scrappy underdog.
Yeah, I mean, this is genuinely no shade to your cats, but Squiggle's objectively way cooler than your cats. He's literally a cool cat.
He is a cool cat, yeah.
Sorry, Squiggle is the stray cat that lives in Keith's neighborhood and often hangs out in his backyard and gets treats from him at the back door, or just straight up a food bowl. You have a food dish for him, right?
I give him food, especially in like when it's colder out or if it's been raining. I'll give him some food. He shows up if he's been hurt. He shows up and like sleeps in the yard all day.
Sometimes he sneaks into your house, sometimes to get warm, sometimes seemingly just to kind of fuck with your cats. Unclear, maybe a little of both. Column A, column B.
Sometimes because he knows that where the food bowls are, so he'll run in and check to be like, do they have food that I can eat?
Ooh.
But like, he doesn't want to be in for very long. The other day he showed up and his eye was hurt. I think he just got something in it. It didn't look scratched or bloody or anything, but he was like squinting and it was watery. And so we brought him in to look at his eye and to clean it out. And we gave him a bowl of wet food, and he ate like half of the thing of wet food and then was like immediately standoffish and acting really weird. And I was concerned because he was acting so weird, and I was like, oh, maybe his eye's really bothering him. But as soon as we let him outside, he was like chirping and he finished his food. He was just like, I just don't want to be inside anymore. Let me out.
Yeah, he just genuinely loves it out there, honestly.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be inside almost ever. Like he likes to come in when he's cold, but then after he's warmed up, like sometimes he'll sleep for an hour or two, but then he's just right out the door. Does not want to stay inside.
He's a city cat.
He's a city cat.
He's got to go explore. Honestly, that's been one of my favorite things about moving to a city is city animals fucking rule. Like just watching cats using sidewalks and like birds that just totally don't give a shit that you're walking past them. It's funny. I think I told this story already, but when I moved in, there were like these little divots in the lawn outside, and I was like, what the hell are those? Or there was like filled in gopher holes or something. Like, what are those things? And it was
birds searching for food.
No, it was this flock of little birds that would hang out in the side yard every day. They were little divots from all the birds going down and like taking dirt baths. They had like hollowed out little like dirt baths for themselves.
I totally know what you're talking about now. I've totally
And I would try to look at them through my window, and I would like creep up and just the tiniest little creak of my floorboards, and they would all fly away and scatter. And I was like, ooh, they're skittish, birds. That makes sense. And I think maybe it's just because when they hear it from my house, they don't know what it is, because when I walk down the street, they don't move. They give no shits about a person walking down the sidewalk next to them. I think that's very funny. Same with the bunny.
Birds are in style.
See, totally. And that just means we're adults now. We're like, birds are cool. We're just old.
No, they've got a lot of personality. They got a lot of gumption.
I miss the turkeys of the Cape, because the Cape has a ton of wild turkeys everywhere, which is awesome.
I don't give a shit about turkeys.
I love turkeys. I love wild turkeys, but what I didn't expect.
They just walk around and they're just like, whoa.
They walk around and look for munchies, and they hang out. It's cool.
They hang out in their little. They fucking
they got little flocks.
That's what they are.
Aw.
Toity.
I have affection for the noble Turkish people of the Cape. What was I? Oh, but I didn't.
Cranberries? So they go around the Cape, eat cranberries from cranberry bogs.
I bet a turkey would fucking love to snack on a cranberry. I don't know if a turkey can get one out of the bog though. I think they're just always looking for bugs, probably little seeds.
Yeah, probably bugs.
Snacking on what they can get out of an acorn, maybe. I mean, maybe an acorn. I meant a pine cone.
They just don't have that personality spark that I'm looking for in a bird.
Wow. Okay.
They just walk around like, I don't know. Walking around.
Okay. Okay. I guess I can see it. My sister. When I told my sister about the turkeys, she was just grossed out. She was just like, "Ew, turkeys, gross. I don't like wild turkeys at all. Yuck." And I was just like, "Huh? Why? What?"
That's weird. That is like a little bit more than me.
I wasn't sure if that.
I also grew up with them.
I wasn't sure if that was going to be your thing. I didn't grow up with them. Maybe that's why I'm more fascinated than you are. I didn't expect
were everywhere in Milton when I lived in Milton.
I never would have expected that in moving to a city I would see more rabbits up close though, because like this, the city rabbits will just get closer to you before they run away. So they're always like hopping around. There was a
And
bunny
there's
that
not
would come to
very
our
many
yard and
places
munch
for
on the
them to
grass.
go, so they just live closer to houses.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's sad. It's not like cool for a rabbit that they live in Somerville instead of
Way to go,
whatever.
dude. Somerville, moving up.
I know, right? Though maybe they can
I
go
used to live in the woods. I got my shit together in Somerville.
But dude, you remember though? Last year, hey, do you remember last year our grandfather died? And we went
Yeah,
to
I remember that.
We went to that cemetery in Arlington. I was blown away by how massive that place was.
It was enormous. Yeah, it was
So
enormous.
a rabbit. There's probably tons of rabbits in there. They probably all live there, then scatter during the day.
Yeah. Chronically underserved community. Rabbits. Yeah. We have to do more for our rabbit population in
Yeah.
America.
Wow.
Keep them in a little cage.
It's true. No. Don't keep them in a little cage.
No, I'm looking down on that. I'm saying,
okay.
look at this horrible thing that we're doing to these rabbits.
You know, the thing that I am getting
Put them
ready
in a little
to
cage. Keep them outside. People who have rabbit hutches, you just leave your pet rabbit outside. That's a pet rabbit. Pet rabbits don't go outside; they go inside. Pretty sure.
What if it's a I think
You
keeping
don't leave your dog outside.
people leave their dogs outside.
They don't, but they don't put them in a cage outside, and permanently.
Sure. Well, I mean, you gotta put a little roof over your rabbits. They can't have no
If
roof.
you want to have a pet, but you don't even want to let it inside, then you shouldn't have that pet.
Probably, yeah. I'm not super big on pet ownership, though I do love cats because I grew up with them. But we always grew up with outdoor cats that we would let out. You know, we would let them outside in the morning, and they would choose to come home every night. So it just doesn't feel like they're a prisoner the way a lot of pet ownership feels like.
Yeah, people hate. There's a certain kind of person that hates outdoor cat owners.
Yeah,
don't know if you can count
sorry
those
for letting
people.
my cat be a cat.
Yeah. Sorry that this is exactly what they want to do. There's this really weird argument about that they have. It was like, well, they live, it cuts their life short. They only live on an average of 10 years instead of 16 years. Or
Yeah, we
something.
should put them in
And it's
cat nursing homes.
Yes, 16 more miserable years. My cats are not outdoor cats. I grew up with outdoor cats, so my cats are not outdoor cats for specific reasons. I just wasn't in an area where they could be outdoor cats for a really long time, and this area they could be outdoor cats, but the neighborhood is full of strays.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Oscar would get into a fight and get hurt. But there's plenty of places where cats are safe to go outside. I think where it's not full of strays and other cats and or dogs. Everywhere.
I think. And I don't know as much about dogs, so I could be wrong about this. I think the difference between a stray dog and stray cats is that cats are functionally city animals. There are tons of cities in the world where they're just roaming packs of cats. Dogs
they're not domesticated in the same way that dogs are. It's a totally different thing.
Domesticated cats and dogs, they're both domesticated, but they are domesticated through different methods. And the dog method was more about capturing a wild animal and then breeding it to be more friendly or whatever. And the cat was more about, it was just beneficial for cats to move into where all the people were so that they could feed on their scraps and stuff. So and then like a squiggle, it would be hey, come inside if you're cold out there, buddy. And that's how cats were domesticated. So it's just a different thing. A stray cat is a stray cat. I feel weird even calling it a stray because it's not stray the way a dog sort of is. There aren't dog colonies,
I actually think there are some dog colonies.
I guess because they are pack animals.
I remember watching something on, and I might be misremembering, but I remember watching something on I I think it was stray dogs in Russia or something that would commute into the city during the day.
Oh, that's fascinating.
They would get onto the subway.
What?
Into the subway, commute into the city to get to where more people would give them food, and then they would go back out to like the suburbs
Holy shit.
at night. Yeah, it ruled, and I'm pretty sure that they were like a sort of loose community.
That's incredible. All right,
but if you look at cats and dogs, though, like all you have to do is observe cat and dog behavior for a short amount of time to see like how competent of animals house cats are, where dogs are just absolute fools.
Yeah, I think like dogs are children. And like what was it? John Hodgman always call them permanent toddlers. Like, that's exactly what a dog is, right? Like it's and you love them in the same way you love a toddler, but they are kind of like that. They need constant supervision. Whereas a cat is sort of like an adult that lives with you, and that's why they sometimes feel like they don't like you that much, because they just want their own space and their own private time.
Yeah, but like when I think of like my cat, and I know different animals are good at different things. You can't say a dog is dumb just because it doesn't jump on things as good as a cat does, because cats have always been better at jumping than dogs. But like, I don't know, you just see the grace with which a cat interacts with its environment, and dogs are like stumbling, flying all over the place.
They are.
Like, you wouldn't last 1 second if I just let you outside.
Yeah. I mean,
it is a set of skills. The cat skill is suited to being let out.
I will say this though. I've gotten a lot more. I did grow up with dogs also. I just never really, not as much, and I never really just liked them as much. But I have really grown on dogs in recent years, and I think when you're talking about them, they are kind of like less intelligent than cats, but I think also people really underestimate the intelligence of dogs, just because I think it's easy to mistake to accidentally think that they are not understanding what's happening. When in reality they just don't give a fuck. Like, when the dogs get outside off their leashes, they will just kind of go nuts and run around the neighborhood, but it almost seems like they're in a panic and they're immediately lost, but it's really just they're playing a game. Like, they just know that if they get out without their leashes, that's their fun joyride where they get to run wherever they want, and eventually, you're yelling at them the whole time, but they don't give a shit because they're having fun, and then eventually you're gonna get them by the collar or whatever and drag them back in, and then their fun's over, but they just don't care. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. It's like the dog's not actually confused about what's happening, but then sometimes...
And you can train a dog to not be on a leash.
But the thing is, that's exactly what a toddler does, too, is a toddler will just be like, that's why toddlers go running, is because they just know, like, this is my freedom, but then they don't realize that they're going to get lost if they just keep doing that, and the same thing happens with a dog sometimes.
The thing that dogs do is, like, and again, it goes down to how and why they were domesticated. Dogs have like an almost supernatural ability to read human intention. To read what humans want from them and what they're feeling, because that's just how they evolved. They evolved to like be companion animals. Cats didn't. That's another reason why your cat seems kind of like an asshole sometimes. Is because like they're just not attuned to emotion the same way. They don't have the same, like, maybe on a dog's worst day and a cat's best day, the cat is like more affectionate and more in tune with human emotion. But like I would say general rule, like dogs are reading people, reading body language in a way that a cat just can't do. Right. And it's just a different kind of intelligence.
Yeah, they're social they're social in a totally different way than the way that cats are social. And it's much closer to the way that people are social. So yeah, that's been interesting. Realizing like I think, I've seen, we talked about this, like all the TikToks of people training their dogs to use speech buttons. Yeah, we did talk about that.
We mentioned it briefly.
It's an interesting thing.
It seems mostly gone. I haven't seen that in a little bit. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's just not, people saw it and it got really popular and they're over it now, whatever. It's interesting. I've definitely seen that. I think people underestimate dogs' abilities to understand speech. Obviously they can't talk, but I think they understand a lot more than we give them credit for. And I always hear people say, the defense they say is, well, they can't understand speech. They can just recognize patterns of sound. Like, that's what speech is, actually. Like, that's all.
Well, there's
no difference.
I think the distinction those people are trying to make is that dogs don't conceptualize grammar.
Right.
Which is, I think, true, but I think is also like not necessarily a prerequisite for like. I think these are two different arguments where it's like dogs understand a ton of words versus a dog could never conjugate a verb. Like, yeah, sure, a dog can never conjugate a verb, fine.
Right. But some languages don't have verb conjugation.
Well, they have tenses. They have like implicit conjugation.
I just mean that you're right that a dog could never speak a language on the same level as a human, but that's because we have much more developed speech centers in our brain. But I'm just saying, it's not like a dog has it's not like the dog's brain is totally untuned to understanding speech. It's just not as developed as a human's.
They have a knack for vocab.
Yeah. Dogs and cats are fascinating.
Yeah. Don't we love them, folks?
I do, but I feel real conflicted about both house cats and kind of like dog ownership in general. I'm not sure if it's like ethical.
I'm fine with it. I don't give a shit. I mean, treat your animals with respect. You should respect your animals.
Yeah.
You should not, you shouldn't take joy in being the master of a beast.
That's what it is, though, right? Some people have that, and it's kind of a bit much.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think it has anything to do with, like, I don't think it's a necessary part of pet ownership. I do think it's not a frequent flaw in humans.
Something
they're constantly looking to have a domain and subjects, but
it's so true.
Yeah. Like there are people who and not saying that you shouldn't train your dog. I think it's really important to train your dog. I think like one of the
because if you want them to live in a human world, you at least have to teach them how to do it.
True,
in some way.
I think the reason is because dogs are so attuned to human emotion. Like, your dog wants you to be happy because it likes that,
right?
Because it's been bred to like that. Mm-hmm. And if you don't train your dog, then you're not putting bounds on its behavior, and it's going to upset you, and then that's going to upset your dog,
right?
And so that is like the social function of dog training, is to like tell your dog how to behave so that it doesn't have to deal with you being an asshole to it and like yelling at it or like rubbing its nose in piss or whatever, all the horrible things that humans do to dogs because they haven't trained their dog right. But there's definitely people who like get off on having an extremely obedient dog who like is like basically like you're just some person who just like, you're just a regular person with a dog, but you make it behave like it's a work dog or something. That always bugs me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But the creature ownership that I'm about to get into in the next couple of months, probably, that I still feel kind of conflicted about is what? Yeah,
Is it 3 letters?
No, it's 4 letters.
Okay. is the plural 4 letters?
Yeah.
Are you doing your ant project?
I'm doing ants.
Why?
I want to, because they're sick.
Goof Troop says bear.
What?
No, not bear. That was the 4-letter animal guess.
Oh, sorry. It was actually, I don't know, use. Ants are cool. And
So are volcanoes. I don't want one in my apartment.
well, I mean, I'm not gonna let them out. These won't be outdoor ants. We're not gonna let them out the back door and back inside every day. But you know,
if I have learned anything from the handful of ant weirdo YouTube that I've seen, it's that the ants get out. It's almost their job to get out.
Okay, here's the thing though, is like it is.
Oh, you're just gonna do it perfect.
Okay, I'm just gonna do it perfect. Here's the thing though, is that I think as I've been learning more about the ants, I mean, they're still dependent on the queen. It's like, as long as the queen doesn't get out, like as long as the colony doesn't move out of where you put it, it's kind of fine. Like the ants are going to get out, but they're not going to like start a new outside colony in your house somewhere. Like that's not going to happen. So like that's not a concern, really.
Right.
So
what if you have what if you do stuff like you've got like chips that you leave out, or you have like an old sandwich and they're like, oh, outside is a regular source of food. Let's find a way to get that inside.
Ooh, here's the thing,
so
though,
they're
Keith.
always making their way outside.
Well, you know me, I'm the cleanest person. I would never leave food anywhere, so that just wouldn't happen.
Right. That's why I asked.
You know, yeah, I'm gonna have to be better about leaving food out and stuff. But you put them in sealed containers, and you're supposed to use an alcohol and baby powder solution as I think this is like the non-toxic, non-harmful solution, is using baby powder to coat the top of a terrarium or whatever, so that they can't climb up the walls of it. They will slide off.
I hate that. Baby powder. I'm afraid of it.
Well, no, they're not afraid of it, or they don't hate it. I think it's just they literally can't.
They can't stick on it.
Yeah, they literally can't walk up it. And so I think that's supposed to be the more, I hate this word, the more humane thing to do, rather than using something that they're like actually averse to.
Why do this?
Because I think
why not like ants from afar?
I get it. That's probably what I should do. Ooh, I'm getting pretty
cheaper. It's probably a lot cheaper to like ants from afar.
I mean, the ant thing, honestly, it doesn't seem so expensive. Because first off, I'm gonna start. I want to start with just a queen, and the queen first just lives in a test tube for like 3 months, because queens. They want to hole up in a little nest for months and months, where they lay their first brood of eggs. And
clutch.
Then, sure, I guess.
I think only birds have a clutch.
Probably, yeah. I think
ants are automatic.
I think they're You good? You done?
Ants are automatic.
I got it.
They don't
have
a clutch.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Boy, that was good. Nice. We all loved that. Well, what's cool about, ants, they're just fascinating creatures. They work together in a big colony. They dig those neat tunnels. I think it's really fascinating how they all, they're born with these different roles. They have polymorphism, so some of the workers can be like, some species of ants have polymorphism, which means like certain workers will be really big, sometimes so big that other ants will ride on them to save energy, which is really cool. And so I always really liked, I think I had an ant farm like once, and those are pretty neat. But what's so mean about that is because they don't have a queen, those ants can't survive. They're destined to die. So it's just like ant farm is like, oh, watch these ants die in a tank. But an ant colony can survive for years and years and years and years.
Well, they still all die. It's just that they have babies.
Yeah, they die and they make new ants. But I mean, that happens outside too.
That happens regardless.
Yeah. I just mean, whatever, they're ants. It's fine. But, I just mean that like when a worker is like, when you have a regular ant farm, those are fundamentally like workers that have been separated from their colony. So, it's not ants like functioning the way they want to, I guess. And they're neat. I want to have like a little terrarium for them, so I don't want to, they're still going to have privacy. They're going to like live in a closet and mostly be in the dark because they live underground. That's what they want to do.
Can I be honest? And maybe I'm in the wrong here.
Okay.
I'm not concerned about ant privacy. I don't think it's a value for them.
It is a value for them. They're ants. Of course it is. So like if you want,
it's in one of their rules.
Well, no, they just hate light. Like they're not going to make, because they certainly always want to put the queen at like the deepest, most protective part of their underground thing. Am I getting a call? No. So if you want to move a
I'm not
colony,
recording, so we can't edit this. We just got to put it out.
Yeah. If you are if you want or need to move a colony from like one housing to another, basically the way you do it is just to like shine a light at the inner part of the colony where they have all their like where they lay their eggs and stuff, and the ants will just be like, fuck this, and they'll just pick up all the eggs and move to a darker place.
Okay. Well, it's sensitivity to light, not sensitivity to being observed.
Sure. I mean, I don't.
Okay.
I think they would still like, when I put my face up to that glass to look at them real close, they still know what animals are. So I'm sure they'll still they would understand what I was. They'd probably be freaked out if I, it's like. So I think I want to have eventually it'll take like a year or two for a colony to even be big enough to need this kind of thing. But I want to have at least like a terrarium that'll be partially filled with dirt so they can tunnel in there. And then you can get like vinyl stick-on things that will cover up the sides so that they will feel comfortable building in that area. And then you can like peel off the vinyl if you want to take a look inside, and then you put it back on. And
have you played Sim Ants?
I actually have a copy of Sim Ant, but I can't install it because it's 16-bit. Or maybe the disc was too damaged. Like I gotta. I mean, yes, of course I could. I just never, That's my connection to Sim Ant.
I feel like you gotta play Sim Ant.
We gotta. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to play Sim Ant on a future Snooze button to tie in with our ant theme.
Our ongoing ant theme. We're
our ongoing
ant
theme.
Show.
Yeah, sorry. We're going after ants.
Ant, get a taste.
Watch out for Ants Canada. We're coming. Or watch out, comma Ants Canada. We're coming.
What is Ants Canada? Is that a YouTube channel?
It's like the most popular ant channel on YouTube. It's
more popular than Ants US.
It's called Ants Canada, but he moved to the Philippines because that's where all the cool ants are native to.
Wow, dedication.
Yeah, I think he used to import foreign ants, and then he realized that it wasn't. It was not like environmentally ethical, and so he decided to move to the Philippines.
Because they were invasive. They would if they got out, they would be invasive ants.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, totally true. You should not.
Yeah.
You should not do an invasive species gaffe.
Yeah, that's a major gaffe. Don't do that. So the ants, I'm gonna have local ants. I might even be able to. This is a thing people do. I might even be able to go out during ant mating season and find a queen out in the wild, and then take it home and start an ant colony.
By what? Digging into the ground and grabbing it?
No. They fly out. They grow wings and fly out once a year to mate, or I mean, once in their life, actually, I suppose. Which is wild. They have sex once and then they make babies forever. Weird, right? So the ants with wings are probably male ants looking for a queen, but they could be a queen ant or a newly minted queen ant looking to mate with a male and then start a colony. Or rejoin an older colony if it's the kind of species of ant that will have multiple queens per colony.
Do you feel like it's a compromise to your political positions to fuck with monarchy like this?
I mean, I think, you can just go ahead and look at, the name Theodora I gave to myself. Clearly, I'm royalist scum, and yeah, I should be canceled post haste for supporting monarchy in all its forms, especially bug based monarchies.
I wonder, is it better or worse that it's bug based?
In an ant colony, basically all of the ants are female. The only ants that are males are only born to have sex with a queen and then die. Bummer.
Damn.
Or not. Maybe this is the perfect underground colony that Courtney wanted, or whatever it was. Oh, it was the opposite. That's the real answer, Courtney. You want to get rid of the men, you have to take the women underground. Ants figured it out.
Makes so much sense. Courtney just wants to be an ant.
Does she? Yeah, of course she does. I don't know. Does she? Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Courtney wants to be an ant.
Courtney got engaged. Congratulations, Courtney.
Wow. Oh, wait, we knew that was happening though, right?
Yeah, we knew. We kind of, or I think she said it was probably going to happen, but it's official now. No wedding for a while. She said at least a year or two.
Congratulations, Courtney.
Congrats. You duped him. Good job.
Yeah. Even after you talked all that shit on him on our show.
No, she didn't.
A little bit, right?
Did she? I don't think so.
I thought she did.
I mean, if you're thinking about a long time ago, that was a different guy.
No. Like during the marathon.
I think she only brought it up to say
she was wrong. The shit she was saying was wrong, but she was criticizing him.
She was saying that like he gets frustrated from having to do puzzles.
He should be more that too, but that he should be like more duplicitous in his business practices.
Wait.
Yeah, like he should trick people more into giving him money or something.
Okay.
It was, I mean, it didn't make him seem like a bad guy. It made her seem like a bad person. But she definitely was upset that he wasn't lying more.
That sounds like something Courtney would be upset about.
Yeah. All right, you ready to play this game?
Maybe. You know what? I'm not. Wait, don't you want to hear about my Yakuza playing?
Oh, I absolutely do. I just kind of forgot. How is it?
I played after. Well, the day that we recorded like 7 hours of Yakuza 0 that we put out one episode.
We did it was like kind of like a mini marathon almost.
Almost, kinda. I think we should start putting I think 5 hours is a good hard cutoff. I think we should stop doing recordings longer than 5 hours because I think at least I get tired and grumpy, certainly. So
you were only grumpy for a half an hour of that 7 hours, I think.
Okay, well, thank you. I'll certainly take that. I think it was good. And so
you got mad at me for trying to help you through one section, and that was the only time I was like, Kylie's being an asshole.
I know what you're talking about. But Yeah, so at the end of that, at the end of the marathon, I wasn't, I mean, I certainly loved what we played of it. I wasn't like necessarily eager to play more of it, but I took a little break, and I was just about to put on like a YouTube show or something later that night. And then I was like, maybe I'm going to play a little bit more Yakuza. And Cheryl was like, the game you streamed for 9 hours? I was like, yeah, shut up. And then I played 6 more hours of it that night.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I played a lot more of it, and then I finished it.
Wow.
So it's done now.
It's over.
Yeah.
So you liked it?
Yeah, it was okay. It was fine. No, it's
I mean, it's like a 70-hour game.
Yeah, no, it's tremendous. It's fantastic. All of the praise that people heaped upon it was all warranted. It's extremely good. Yeah, and
what do you gotta do now? You gotta play Kiwami 1.
I'm already playing Kiwami 1.
Great. How is it?
I don't like anything about it as much as Yakuza 0.
How far in are you?
I just did the not far. I just did the funeral scene near the beginning.
Okay, I think it picks up.
Okay.
Definitely it's.
Oh, go.
I mean, it's definitely not as good, but it's so much better than the original, I think.
Yeah, so far I think it's better. I was maybe hoping it was going to be, I don't know. It's interesting the way they've kind of injected, what I think of as Yakuza 0 is whatever, it's later Yakuza style back into Yakuza 1. But I think they kept more of the bones of Yakuza 1 than I really kind of wanted them to, though I think they changed.
Like what?
It's interesting the things they changed and the things they kept.
I mean, it's really close to. I mean, it's a remake of Yakuza 1. Like, it really is just Yakuza 1, but with the Yakuza 0 combat. After this one, they go back to regular style Yakuza combat again. I actually quite like the combat in Yakuza 2, although I did miss for a majority of the game. I did miss the different styles. Although 2 has like a lot of like the most interesting things about those different styles kind of baked in to the upgrade system. Where like eventually you can unlock sort of the multiple dash like rush style thing, or everyone knows the greatest attack in the history of games, the Tiger Drop.
Which is,
do you remember, did you unlock the Tiger Drop in Yakuza 0?
Describe it to me.
When it is a counter, when someone attacks you right before they hit you, when you're you basically like go from a guard to an attack, and it counters them, and you just like send them flying. It does basically as much damage as a heat action, but it's free.
Oh no!
Like it's a late game unlock, that I think is a So you remember the old guy that teaches Majima stuff, the Meki or
the guy I talked to once and then avoided for a while and said I'll come back to that guy and then totally forgot about him and never saw him again.
He teaches you a huge string of all the best combat in the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had a fun time just kind of tearing through that game willy-nilly, and I realized right at the end that I had kind of misunderstood how some of the systems in that game interacted in a way that prevented me from unlocking a lot of the combat moves in the game. So that was a bummer.
Wow.
That was a bummer, but it turns out that game is totally fine and finishable on normal without unlocking all of the top tier combat stuff. So I did have to.
What do you mean that you didn't? So wait, so like you didn't do the like the stuff that made you a ton of money where you could actually unlock all the stuff? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. So
like
I basically totally forgot about the real estate thing until literally the final chapter, and then I stopped and spent like 10 hours doing the real estate thing as much as I could, and I'm still gonna go back. I went back after I finished and did more of the real estate stuff, but yeah, so that was when I realized like, Oh, I forgot. I forgot this thing was here. I forgot this part of the game, and it explains why I couldn't afford any of the best moves.
Did you do the? You probably then also didn't do the hostess management stuff.
That one
That's how you afford.
That one I did slightly more, but no, I also didn't do very much of that either. But I went back and did some in the final chapter before I finished it. But
That's how you afford stuff on the other side.
Yeah. But it's fine because like that stuff is still totally fun on its own. When you finish the game, you unlock Premium Adventure, which is just you go back into the game, but there's no story, and so you can just run around and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I spent many hours on slot car racing. I learned to play mahjong. I wandered into a mahjong.
That's also how I learned to play mahjong. Yeah. Great game, honestly.
Yeah,
I love mahjong now.
Yeah, mahjong's great. I was
and
just
then
playing
I forgot how to play, and when I was playing Kiwami 1, I realized that I forgot how to play mahjong. I hated mahjong again until I relearned how to play it.
Just like Kiryu. He probably forgot. He was in jail so long he forgot how to play mahjong.
I forgot how to get Ron. One of the win conditions.
Yeah, Roan or sumo.
Yeah. So I can't believe you missed that stuff. See, I'm like always looking to do stuff like that in between story beats.
Yeah, I think the thing was, I have this whole complex about never finishing games because I don't finish them. So I think one, it's like every time
this used to not be a problem for you.
It made it so easy to keep going with the story. I wanted to see more of the story. I guess I would just, if I wanted to do the story, I would do that, and I would say I can come back to this other stuff later, which was true. I could do that. I think it's
you can always come back to anything later. I think in some games it works really well that's not the case, and in this game it works really well that it is the case. But the side stuff is some of the best stuff in the game. I mean, it's goofy, it's funny, it's well written.
Yeah, I would honestly say that the sub stories in the game, like the side quest stories, it's like as a whole probably my favorite collection of side stories like in any video game. Normally I kind of low-key despise side quest stories because they're usually so boring, and these are just so wacky and funny that I loved almost all of them.
In a way, like looking at any given one on its own, and it like screams fluff.
Yeah,
but somehow
it's probably some degree of problematic.
Oh sure, yeah. But somehow when you put them all together, it comes off being really strong instead of like a big pile of fluff. I don't know why. It's kind of like magic. It's like the trick. It is the Yakuza trick of like all of these things that individually like maybe kind of suck, but all together are somehow awesome. I don't know.
I don't know I don't think that they suck. I mean, some of them are really like rote, I guess. Like some of them are great on their own, but some of them on their own are really rote. But you come away, even if like 40% of them are kind of like you come away like with all of the strongest impressions instead of all of the flaws of it, for me at least. What I like so much about it is so many of the side stories, they almost always find a roundabout way to, some excuse to make you fight somebody because it's Yakuza and you fight people. But I love that there wasn't often a fetch quest kind of thing, and it was usually just a story. It was almost like a cutscene where I could just watch it and then make some choices sometimes. There'd be like one where you have to like pretend to be somebody's boyfriend and go to dinner with their dad so that their dad stops asking about when they're going to get married, or there's like the one where you have to help the kid get a video game back that got stolen from him. and whatever. There's the one where Kiryu's just walking down the street, and two TV ad crew members are upset because their producer didn't show up for work, and they see Kiryu walking down the street and just decide on the spot that he has the perfect air of a TV producer, and so they get him to be a producer for a day, and then you have to act like you understand what TV production terms mean. It's just
really
so
good.
it's just so wacky and fun. It's
juxtaposed with the story, which is like
extreme, extremely
crime story,
extremely serious,
drama.
Extremely serious, like pulp crime melodrama.
My memory is that Kiwami 1 sort of opens up around where you're at. The other thing is, and I'll say this, I'm saying this only because of your failure to do this in Zero, is you have to go out of your way to be unlocking the dragon style.
Okay.
It's there's a lot of like it's kind of a lot of work to do, and it's not a good style to use until you're like 85% of the way through unlocking it, but then it is a blast to use. And that is the Majima Everywhere stuff.
Right.
And then also Kameki, or whatever his name is. I can never remember his name. The short guy that you ignored in the last game, he is in this game, and also he teaches you stuff. I believe he starts in the little alcove at the entrance to the Champion District. And that's where you can find him. And he will teach you moves.
Cool.
Some of his moves are beneficial outside of the dragon style, I think. But
yeah, great stuff. I mean, there's tons of stuff I'd like to critique about the game and get into the nitty-gritty of it, but A, we need to move on to playing the game, and B, I feel like I'm so often too nitpicky and critical about games, and I figured I'd just take my first opportunity talking about Yakuza 0 to just be like, A+.
Yeah,
good thumbs up, Yakuza 0, you did it. I'll complain about your bad parts later.
I don't even remember all the bad parts.
Oh, they're in there.
I just remember that it was great.
Oh, okay. Get a big stretch. Ooh, but this is a good stretch because I'm standing. I can just reach up to the ceiling, touch that ceiling fan. Ooh, that was a stretch. Ooh, I punched my mic though. That's the thing, when you stretch on mic, you gotta not punch it. Is it time to play the game? Are we done with a talk?
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, damn. We'll have to talk about the big fat quiz of the year later.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know that show?
I do know that show, yeah. You showed me that show years and years ago.
No, it wasn't me.
It was you.
It was not.
It was. Like, I swear to God, like 6 years ago, it was you that showed me the show.
No, I just learned about it like 3 days ago.
We talked about it 2 weeks ago.
No, we've been talking about Taskmaster.
I brought up Big Fat Quiz of the Year, and you were like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's the show you told me about 6 years ago."
And I said, "No, I didn't.
I never heard of it."
Yeah, I haven't heard it.
Apparently, it left your brain again.
No. No. Get out of here.
Yes, we talked about this. We talked about it like 2 weeks ago. Maybe a month ago.
Okay, I believe you that maybe you mentioned it then, and I truthfully said, I've never heard of that. What is it? Because that was what was true. It's not true that I ever knew about it before and told you about it. You always do this. You're always like, you're the one who told me about that. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Only one of us can be right. But it doesn't mean that it's you.
Listen, I've been afraid to say it for a few years now, but I think it's become clear. I have a much better memory than Keith.
I don't know.
And so I think my memory's correct.
I'm
I mean,
the
it's
one that
my
remembers talking about Big Fat Quiz of the Year 2 weeks ago.
How could I? Well, I mean, I think it's normal to not remember talking about something that you hadn't heard of at the time because, it's like, oh, a quiz show, and then it leaves your head. And then you're on YouTube and you're like, what's this quiz show?
But in like 2010 or whatever, you were a fan of Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, yes, I was. But that was his stand-up. And also, you introduced me to QI, which would often have Jimmy Carr on it. But
right. But so back a decade ago, when someone would conceivably be a fan of Jimmy Carr, I swear that you were like, he also does this show that is like a yearly quiz show.
No, I couldn't. It couldn't be me.
Is it possible that you saw it once and then the next day saw me and said, watch this? And I was like, oh, okay. And then you never thought of it again. And I basically also didn't, except that I remembered it.
I can't tell you it's not possible.
Okay.
It could be. But anyways, I've just been watching those. Yesterday I just watched a bunch of those. And I watched some
fun.
of the.
I like them. I don't like Jimmy Carr, but I do like those.
Yeah, Jimmy Carr. I think he's funny, but he's an
asshole.
Whatever. If you know who Jimmy Carr is, you know what his problems are, and if you don't know who Jimmy Carr is, it's fine. We'll move on.
Yeah. Well, the other problem is that there's also guests that I don't like. I don't like Jonathan Ross at all, and he's on there all the time. He's on there like almost every other year.
He's the guy with the long hair. Who's the
he's like a news presenter.
Yeah, that guy is I don't like that guy. I don't like him enough to not watch it if he's on it. But yeah,
right, same.
But those are the two people. I went back and watched the first two from 2004 and 2005, and what bizarre time capsules those were. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also I would say just wow, like the kind of stuff that you are allowed to say, and more specifically say about, like, you are socially allowed to say about people on British television is like totally different from American television, and especially 15 years ago. So it's amazing how casually they will just insult people.
Yeah.
It's like not like public figures that are worthy of ridicule, but just like random people.
Do you have an example?
No, sorry. But it's they'll bring up like, whatever. I just mean like they're so eager to like criticize. Also like tabloid stuff. It's like very tabloidy, those shows, and they get into like,
well, Kylie, they're just taking the piss.
They are just taking the piss, and that's what I love. And that's what I love. I love when they take the piss. But sometimes they take a little. They take a little too much.
They take it
but
Jimmy Carr, I understand you're just taking the piss, but where are you taking it to? Please,
I'll say
God.
this though: if you think David Mitchell is tittery and nervous now, go back and remind yourself what he was like 15 years ago. Because oh
my
boy,
God. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, David Mitchell's on there. I like David Mitchell on there. They get I'm looking on his name. I can't remember. Richard Iwadi, who I really like. Honestly, a shame that the show that he had to be in that made him famous was the IT Crowd.
I know.
A miserable show written by a miserable person.
Yeah.
It's always been bad. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
There's they get Russell Brand, who's really great. And I
haven't
feel like
seen
in
those
America became extremely famous for like 1 year, and then became extremely hated for seemingly overnight. And I don't really understand why that is. But I do remember seeing him on British stuff and being like, "Oh, this guy seems fun and good."
Oh, one more fun thing though. Am I cutting you off? Did you have more?
Last one, Noel Fielding, and the three of them
Sure.
are great together.
Yeah.
Iwadi Fielding.
It was so funny. I watched the 2005 one, and they brought out David Tennant to do, they'll bring out like random like celebrities and personalities to do like a bonus question or whatever. To ask a question. And they brought out David Tennant.
It always seems not worth it, but go ahead.
Right, exactly. But it was funny because this time it was 2005, so it was the year that David Tennant had taken over as Doctor Who, or sorry, the Doctor of Doctor Who.
And switched on that. Now it's Doctor Who. Sorry.
What? No.
Yeah, the lore on this has flipped.
No.
Yep, swear to God.
Fuck off.
I don't like it either.
Get out of here.
I don't like it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it also is ridiculous.
Yeah, it gets no more oxygen on this podcast.
Suffocate it.
So he had just taken over as the Doctor, and it was so funny because everyone normally the people on the contestants on the quiz show really don't care who's giving the question, but they're all just like fawning over him, like, oh, you look so nice, I loved you in this thing, and he's just like, oh, thank you, and I was like, oh right, 2005 when David Tennant was released. I remember that. Remember when David Tennant was new and we were all really excited about David Tennant? Oh, what a great time.
I absolutely remember it. Yeah. I remember thinking the words Doctor Who and being like, wow, that's good. What a good thing.
Yeah, David Tennant was a good thing in Doctor Who. And then, I'll go back and rewatch that stuff, see what I think about it. Nah, that's all I got. That's what I got. Want to play Frostpunk?
Sure.
I got an hour and 10 to play Frostpunk.
I vaguely know what Frostpunk is.
Vaguely? Okay.
Vaguely.
Well, let's take like a 2-minute break while I fill up my cup with water and get the game going.
No, let's not do that.
No? Why?
I guess we can, but that will mean that we can't just release the thing.
No, I'm just gonna... we can release the thing as is, because I'm just gonna put up the be right back screen, and if you're watching now, please patiently wait 2 minutes or just skip ahead quickly. I trust you to not be mad that we're gonna put on the be right back screen, and then when the be right back screen is gone, we're back. Okay, be right back.
Yeah.
You ready?
I sure am.
Ready to be back?
I would like a screen share, though.
Oh, I should probably get you a screen share, shouldn't I?
Yes, please.
Okay. There it is, Frostpunk. So, share your screen. And I'm just gonna do screen. We're going live on screen share. Okay. So Frostpunk is that it's that steam well, it's steampunk, but
cold steampunk.
It's cold steampunk. I didn't realize it was.
This is survival. Is this like a survival colony builder?
Yeah, it's basically the way I describe it to people when I mention it is I basically just say, imagine SimCity, but it's an ice age, and you have to keep everyone alive, and like that's the game.
Did you say nice age?
Yeah, a nice age where everyone's happy. It's just
okay.
like,
That sounds easy.
it's SimCity, but everyone's just a lot more content than they normally are. So here's my...
Now, is this Frostpunk Prime, or is this the, like, standalone? They released some, like, new kind of thing recently.
This is Frostpunk. We're doing the primary campaign, the primary scenario of the original Frostpunk. So the idea is there was like it's like early 1900s or late 1800s, and unexpected turn of coldness in weather for unexplained reasons, and for some reason they have to go north to the North Pole where someone built a generator. I think rich people fucked off and built a generator up at the North Pole, and then they died or something, and we came here, or we are the rich people. I forget. There's more to the story if you play the other scenarios, but I haven't gotten there yet. We have to keep everyone warm.
I didn't realize.
Here's our heat overlay.
Kind of assumed that this was a future game.
No, it's like a past game. So this is our big heat generator that, it just makes heat. It just burns coal. And so up here we have our coal that we have to constantly feed the generator. And right now I was running at a major deficit earlier. This is my second playthrough, by the way. I got like 3/4 of the way through and then failed, and then I restarted. And this is like a kind of early one. Day 10, so that's like 1/5 of the way through. I played a little last night. I was running at a major coal deficit. Now it's just a little one. But this is just a game where you're constantly on your back foot. You're never going to be comfortable with your amount of coal, or you can never store very much of it if you have extra, so then you're going to be running out of space. Here I have 22 hours left before I run out of coal. So what do I have going on here? I think I think it just ended, but I had to call a 24-hour shift for my coal gatherers to make sure that we would have enough coal, and that raises discontent. So now my discontent is pretty high.
Damn, you do not want...
We have bad food, bad health care, and we just had to call an emergency shift for coal gatherers, so they're not happy right now.
You do not want this to be the winter of their discontent.
No. And it would be a long one. Here's my sawmill, gathering these trees out here. And what I really love about this game is how focused it is. Even though it's a city builder, which is like by definition kind of detached, and you're obviously pulled way back and you're like this almost god figure, but there's a big focus on the people, because it's all about you have a population, everyone has a name.
Sort of like Sim Coaster.
You're right. So it's Sim Coaster. Everyone has a name, and they have a place where they live, and they have needs and wants, and you assign them to work at certain places.
They have a puke meter like Sim Coaster.
I've never played like Sim Coaster or Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Really?
Yeah.
So the actually one of the interesting things about it is that all of the guests have like preferences and thresholds of like how much fun versus thrill they want out of a ride. And one of the goals is to cater to as many people as possible, giving by having like various things along that sort of fun to thrill thing. But then also the less thrilling it is, it could be boring instead of fun. And they can puke, and they can want different snacks. And so this seems like that, but it's cold, and they might die.
Yeah, it's very like I avoided playing it for a long time because I thought it would be too depressing. And I think what happened was the world got so bad that now this is relaxing. And I'm just like, wow, imagine if all we had to do was keep ourselves warm. What a fantasy. So like here, the whole game is beautifully rendered. So all the people are individually rendered where they're really going where they're going. And you can see how warm or cold they are based on like snow will build up. If a place isn't warm enough, it'll build up on the roofs and stuff like these buildings are usually empty, so they have snow. Here's like an extra heater I have for these tents where people live, and then you can click on like a dwelling and just see like, this person is a child and they're at the daycare. They're at the child day shelter. And you have this political tree, the Book of Laws, where you can. So you're like the captain or something. You're basically the mayor, or the leader of this colony or something. And so you have different laws that you can sign. Soup. I've signed the law of soup. So some of them are choices. So the thing with soup was like, it's sort of like, how do we want to handle, or it's like, hey, people are hungry and we can either just keep feeding them food like we are doing now, however that is, or we have two different options. We can add like sawdust filler, and that will like feed more people, but it will make people less content or something. Or you can do soup, which will make them less hopeful, but it's not as bad for them as eating sawdust or something like that.
How is soup less hopeful than sawdust?
I think the sawdust is the idea is they don't know that they're eating it or something. I'm not sure.
But they're discontent because I guess it tastes bad.
I think most of these laws, some of them are ones that people will appreciate, and some of them are necessary. But almost all of them are kind of optional. Over here, there's corpse disposal. So the option is like when people start dying, it's like, what are we going to do with the bodies? And you can choose to either do to bury them, which unlocks a branch down to ceremonial burials, which means, you actually have like funerals, like real funerals and stuff. Which all those things raise hope, because it's like, hey, we're honoring our dead. We're not, we must not be on the brink of extinction if we're, doing normal things like ceremonial burials. Or you can do what I did in my second playthrough, which was leave the bodies out in the snow, which then lets you do organ transplants later by taking their frozen organs out of their bodies. And then you can also use them for organic fertilizer, but people hate these things, though. So you can see here, my discontent is very high.
The sick recover faster.
The sick recover faster. Which one was that?
Organ transplants.
Right.
There was no penalty to that one.
The sick recover faster. The penalty was that I would get a huge... well, I don't think there's any... I don't know if there was a negative. Yeah, I guess there was no negative. But as soon as I signed it, there was a little text blurb down at the bottom from one of the people that was like, oh, well, I don't want to be chopped up and used for parts when I die. So...
Why? Get over yourself.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Get over yourself. Be an organ donor. But, choose... I guess you should choose to be one. I don't know. And that's why politics is complicated. And that's why Frostpunks is complicated. Some of the political stuff, because, it's...
Well, it is on the game, honestly, that it
right.
doesn't... There's no people should choose option.
I guess you're right. Or I think it... So I've heard that when you... Ooh, I finished my research. So supposedly, I think when you get to the end of the scenario, it basically looks back at your choices and kind of judges you, like, how did you do? Did you become a tyrant? And so I think it's sort of like, I think you can choose. I think the option that people decide for themselves is that you don't pick how you just don't pick what you do with the bodies, and then you don't get any benefits or negatives from choosing.
Got it.
Okay, so now I can upgrade my generator, which is important, but I don't have steel. And the other thing is, so it's not just as simple as making the buildings that I need, because I still need to populate them with people. So my major problem right now is underpopulation. And as I'm saying that, I now realize what I have to do to fix it is I have to rescue these survivors. Like, basically, I have to... There are other survivors out there that I can find if I put together a search party, but that search party is going to have to leave. They're, and they basically become like a permanent, like a recon party. So it's like 5 people. It's 5. I already don't have enough people to staff my medical posts and my hunting lodges and whatever, my coal gathering and my lumber sawmill. And
but
now I'm gonna have to
people. You'll have more people.
Yeah, but now so what I really need to do is rescue more people with that expedition party. I think I wanted to put together a recon party because that's how you get some cool stuff out there. But I forgot that it is literally just gonna give me a bunch of people. So that's why I'm struggling. I've been putting off building a search party too long accidentally. It happened.
It happened.
So
where are these people?
So they're at the North Pole. They came from London. So unclear. They tell you this in the intro, but it's unclear why they have gone to the North Pole. I mean, if the story is like the Earth got spun off its axis and now the North Pole is the warmest place, maybe that's what it is. I have no idea.
Maybe the ice age is so cold, but the poles are just less affected by temperature change. They're always
because they're already frozen or something. I don't know.
Right. If everything was 50 degrees and then the ice age made them minus 60 degrees, well, this place is only minus 40 degrees.
So what I'm dealing with right now is I have to figure out how to not run out of coal in the next 19 hours. And so I need to divert some people from what they're doing to gather coal.
Maybe there's more coal in the North Pole.
Wow, maybe there's more coal at the North Pole. I mean, supposedly the reason...
Maybe that's why they call it that. It rhymes. Coal pole.
North Coal.
North Pole.
I could maybe take people off of... I could take people off the medical posts to gather coal, but one... my sick people aren't going to get better, but also people are already complaining that there's too many sick people that aren't in treatment, and I told them that I would admit at least a third of people that are sick into treatment in the next 3 days, and so I have to admit 12 more people into treatment in the next 3 days.
So it sounds like hunting is a thing you've got to do. You got to take people off of hunting.
Yeah, but then we won't have food. I'm taking my engineers off of research. And
food sucks to not have, but it at least is something you cannot have for a little while.
It's true. I can.
I'm seeing your discontent meter and your hope meter there. Mm-hmm. How can the discontent be so high if the hope also be so high?
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm not really sure what, that level of abstraction on, I don't know. I don't really know what the explanation is for how you can have high hope and high discontent, but it happens, I guess. And so what happens later is you unlock this tree right here, adaptation, is more about, like the daily functionings of society, like what kind of buildings do we have and what are people doing for jobs, and are we signing into law extended shifts so that sometimes I can make people work longer hours even though it will upset them. But later I'll unlock there will become a sect of people called the Londoners that want to go back to London, and the question is, how do you deal with this? And your two options are either basically like a fascism tree or a religion tree, and it's like you can either try to you can either crack down on discontent with cops basically, or you can try to give people more hope with religion, and it's definitely it's definitely some grim stuff, but I've heard, I think it handles it better. The game handles that kind of stuff better than it seems at the outset. At first you're just like, wow, Frostpunk has a lot of weird political views, but I think the further you get into it, you're kind of like, okay, I sort of see what you're doing, Frostpunk. And I also went back and reread Rob Zachney's review for this game on Waypoint, and he kind of said the same thing. And he had played more of it than me, so that's pretty good. So, how am I gonna get this coal? Okay, I've assigned more people to coal. Also, the coal is cold. I have cold coal right now, and
you need it to be hot.
I'm not sure if that's like a problem, like how. Yeah, it's freezing where they're working. That's bad. But I don't have any steel.
Oh, they're getting too cold.
Yeah, just this spot right here is too cold. These people over here are fine. It's livable, so. Wait, why is that off? Oh, it's off because they're not working right now. Okay, so the 24-hour shift is happening because they're still gathering.
That's such a long shift.
We need more people on production. We need more people on gathering. It's true, but when everyone's gonna freeze to death if the coal gatherers don't work extra shifts, what are we gonna do? Oh, I had my engine on overdrive, so now I've taken it off and everyone's gonna get colder.
But you're gonna burn less coal.
Yeah, well, I think overdrive. Do I? Oh, I do. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was thinking overdrive didn't cost more coal, which doesn't make sense, but that it only puts physical stress on the heater. But you're right, it actually did use more, so now we're good. Now we have, but we're only good because I took a bunch of people off and told them to get on coal gathering, so.
You now have 21 hours left. Look at that.
Oh, so people were automatically taking themselves off coal gathering, I think, because the coal piles were emptying. And I can make more permanent coal gatherers by building a gathering post.
Is it me, or does this look like an actually extremely inefficient generator?
I mean, yeah, it certainly just looks like it's letting all the heat out the top. But I'll grant you that. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I like I love the radial design of the cities in this game. I think it's very cool.
Cities?
Yeah, because this is, well, you can't have multiple cities in like a game, but I just mean, you can build a city in a different place. And I can speed it up.
Uh-oh. Did you see that?
I heard it go, wah.
Looked like everything was icing over to me. Or is that just daylight?
That was daylight, yeah. So up here you can see I can actually see temperature changes ahead of time somewhat. So right now we're pretty cold, but the temperature is going to increase for a little bit. And I still need to take those people into medical care, so that's what I should focus on. More engineers at the medical posts. So all the people are divided into workers and engineers, which is, I don't know. That's how it works. Also, I have children helping out in the medical posts. I raised hope a bit by not signing in like full child labor and instead making child shelters, but also there are some medical apprentices because it is so hard to keep medical posts staffed. It's like impossible. So I make the kids work at the medical posts. Sorry.
I mean, hey, look, if the alternative is that you die, you all die.
You all die. And that's the tension at the heart of Frostpunk, is how do you keep everyone alive without becoming a monster, I played, like I said, I played a little last night to refresh. But I took a 2-week Yakuza break from this game, but I was pretty obsessed with it for a week there. I was playing late into the night. Definitely a very easy game to get sucked into late at night. I have no food. Okay, let's bring up my my coal balance is bad again. Already. I
feel like it never got good. When did it get good?
Remember when I turned off overdrive and then it got good?
Oh, I didn't realize it actually got good. I just thought it wasn't getting worse.
It got good, but that was because I put a bunch of extra people on coal, so then that's why coal blah is bad, is because we ran out of coal in the coal piles, but it's back. See, this is my coal thumper, and I have to employ people to work at the coal thumper, which bangs on the ground and makes coal come up. That sounds impossible. That can't be real.
No, that's not real.
So that's how that works. And then it makes these piles of coal. Then I can either assign people to gather from individually, but instead I made this gathering post that I assign people to, and then they will just gather whatever is in the vicinity, which includes these coal piles. And so now that we have the gathering post and this thing, hopefully that'll get us something better. What the fuck? Oh, because more heaters are on because they're spread out now because they're at work. So now we're burning more coal. Warm these people up.
You've already gone up, though. You've got up to 17 hours.
Warm these people up.
From I think it went to 15 for a second. Why is that one building so far away?
Which one? This one? Because this is the sawmill. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be near the trees, so it has to be out there.
Got it. Okay.
I've been playing this with my Steam controller, by the way, and I've been enjoying it. It's great.
The Steam controller evangelist.
Yeah. The snow pile. Here's my snow pit for my bodies. Just one though. Only one.
Just one.
So
That's not bad.
Yeah, no, just one.
Once you've got like 3 or 4 body snow pits.
Oh no, just one body in the pit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's all. So
not bad.
I don't see why they're so discontented, honestly.
Is there a cannibalism tree?
Feel like I don't know. Is there a cannibalism tree? Probably not.
I feel like that would be I would put that in.
Well,
can we all agree to eat human bodies?
I think the closest we get to cannibalism is using humans as fertilizer.
Sure. I think in a way that's beautiful.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, that's what burials are already. It's just doing it on purpose.
But when I upgrade the generator power, it's gonna use double coal. And that is where this game gets really intense. Allows us to deploy an additional scout team. Well, I don't even have a scout team.
It sounds like what you're doing is waiting on that team to come back with the rescue.
I really need to. Well, no, I don't have a team out there.
Understaffed.
So
you didn't send them?
I didn't send them. I'm sending them. Okay.
You told me a half hour ago.
I'm sending them. Is that what you want?
Yes.
Okay, they're sent now. They're gonna be there in 10 hours. Are you happy?
Yeah,
is that what you wanted from me? Good.
That's what I want.
We're glad now. We can all move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look, you're at 19 hours, 18 hours.
Wow.
Your coal's going up. You're going up on coal.
I'm going up on coal, but I'm going way down on food. How's my food now? Okay. People might start getting hungry for a couple days, but then we'll get those new people in, new hands for doing stuff. Boy, I am not moving people out of those medical posts though. So I can click on a medical post here, and you can even look at the patients that are in the bed, and it'll say how long until they get better, which is a little silly, but
I think that makes sense. You know how long a cold is gonna last.
I guess that does make sense. Later on, you get this ability. You can choose to sign in this ability called triage, where it will instantly get rid of 3/4 of your sick people, but 2 of the quarters will be healed and 1 of the quarters will be instantly killed.
Oh my god.
And I had to do that at least once or twice because I just had so many sick people and nowhere to put them. And I love the anywhere the people have to go, they'll dig these paths through the snow. But then if they fall out of use, they will slowly get covered up by the snow again, like these ones over here.
Is it then easier to dig them out, or is it just like now you just can see the tracks? But
I think they certainly will stick to them. Yeah, and I think it takes them some time to dig it out the first time. So yeah, I think it is like a functional path that helps them get there faster. And then this one here is like an actual road that I had to build. I ran into a huge problem earlier when I built, I think it was this sawmill. I needed wood desperately, so I built the sawmill and it was finally done. I was like, great, everyone get to work at the sawmill, we need wood. And it wasn't working because I hadn't built a road to it, but I needed wood to build the road. And so I was just like stuck. My sawmill wouldn't work because I didn't have the wood.
How did you fix it?
I found some you start with some piles of wooden crates that you can just gather wood from, but they run out and I think they're all gone now. There's one pile of wood crates and steel wreckage.
Refuse.
Let's
what
pop
are the
ahead.
bars on the like the status bars? What are they counting towards?
These ones?
No, in the city over the houses.
Those are they're not counting towards it. It's like operational efficiency. So like this. You're at 120% on one of them. That's great. Yeah, 120%, probably because they're getting a bonus. They're getting bonus percent from the child slaves. 24 hours, huh? Wow. That's But yeah, so like this hunting is only collecting 27% of the food that they could because they only have 5 workers and one of them is sick and in treatment. So actually we can just shut this one down and then move them all over here. Consolidation, you know.
Does that increase efficiency?
I don't know. It just seems rational to me.
Two noises happened.
I think so. We found the survivors. Let's explore. We enter the camp, appearing out of the driving snow. A choir of excited voices welcomes us. Thank God you found us. We had been wandering for days until we couldn't go any longer. Soon we'd begin to starve. Children and adults surround us, packed and ready to go. Okay, so I can escort them, and that's safer but takes longer. Or my team has to go back with them, or I can just send them on their way, but they could die. But I'll escort them back.
Why wouldn't you escort them back?
Because
what else would you even be doing?
Because then I could send my team onto further locations that they could find more survivors and more resources before they had to return to the city, because every journey takes time. I don't think I'm going to make it to this ill thing unless I... honestly, unless I get triage. Ooh, overcrowding. We can either give them extra rations to help people get better faster. But honestly, first of all, we don't have any extra food right now. And I picked this one last time and it didn't seem to to do very much, so I guess we'll try overcrowding.
You could just do neither of them for now.
We're gonna, but I'm not gonna make it. Look, I did the thing. I only need to admit 5 more people in the next 15 hours. Uh-oh.
Ooh, that's a lot of discontent.
That's a lot of discontent that just happened. Oh, but you know what brings down discontent? I'll have to sign next is the fighting arena.
How does this bring down discontent?
Is because people like watching a good fight at night after work, I guess. And that lets you build the public house, and the public house then lets you build, like, have prostitution houses? Or, no, the prostitution can be in the public houses if you want. Also, this is the fighting arena, this is the most questionable thing about the game's politics is this area. There's even this one called dueling law, which, like, makes it legal for people to duel each other in the streets, and it lowers discontent somehow, and I cannot possibly imagine how that could be.
Well, if you're discontent, if 2 people are discontent, they duel and one of them dies, thus lowering discontent. The dead guy's not discontent anymore. And then the other guy, who had some guy that wanted to kill him, is also no longer discontent.
Oh boy, this is so rough.
I think you probably shouldn't have done that overcrowding thing.
I probably shouldn't have done that overcrowding thing.
I tried to warn you.
You know what? We'll
Your P, they were about to almost all of them were about to come out.
No, that's only because when I said I'm almost there, it's because I did the overcrowding thing.
No, I mean, like, so it says you had, how many days left do you have to accomplish the take care of the ill thing?
Ooh, oh, it's getting warmer. Thank God. I have 13 hours.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
well, look at the thing. Look at the medical tent.
Here's our
the patients.
Well, it's about yeah, okay, wait.
So a lot of these people were coming out today.
But will they make it in time though?
I don't know.
Maybe you know what? I should have done the fucking extra rations thing. That wouldn't have helped.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm screwed.
You didn't have to do either. You could have just failed to take care of the ill.
We could try a do-over.
Yeah, do-over. What? Do you have an autosave from a couple minutes ago?
I do. I also just have the full... We could just start over.
No. I mean,
No.
if we did that, how much time do you have left? 20 minutes? 10 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes. Well, I just mean, it doesn't undo me showing the game off. It was just what we were doing. But now we know what we need, and what we need is... Oh, the generator is not on overdrive.
Yeah, you reloaded the recent one.
Oh,
Not the snooze button.
overdrive doesn't increase the coal usage. I was right. So we'll put on the overdrive back on, and we're gonna grab some people from... Oh, wait.
Are you sure? Turn overdrive off.
Wait, I did... How did that happen?
You reloaded the top one. Yeah, that's what I
did?
Yeah. Yeah, you totally did.
Yeah.
I thought that's the one that you meant to do.
No. Okay, wait.
Okay. Well, now
So look, coal
right away. Extra rations.
Okay,
Turn
look.
off overdrive.
Coal
and send the party.
usage 320 per day. Now I'm gonna turn off overdrive. And now coal usage is still 328 a day.
Okay.
So overdrive only puts stress on the generator.
It still seems bad though.
I mean, you want to save it for when it's good, but now's the time to use overdrive because the temperature is going to go up in a few hours. So we'll warm them up now, and then it'll get warmer. Plus, these people, they're freezing with their little spot over here. These people are freezing. I'm trying to save them, Keith. Maybe we will load back to that more recent one. It's fine. I realized we didn't even have our next tech tier unlocked. That's no good. So I have to. Oh, we do have.
I also was doing something
great.
heavy and depressing yesterday. It wasn't Frostpunk. I read Stephen King's The Long Walk.
Yes, I saw your tweet about that. I that's the most recent Stephen King book that I've read. I think.
Well, you mean most recent as in most recent that you've read, not most recent written that you've read.
Right.
Because that's not true.
It's the one I've read most recently. It's
Right.
not the most recent Stephen King book I've read.
You read
the
it?
Stephen
Did you read
King
it
book
for,
I've read most recently.
Did you read it in preparation for the Just King Things episode?
Oh no, I read it like a year or two ago or more.
Oh, okay. Just a coincidence.
Yeah, that was on my Stephen
what'd
King
you think?
journey. It's definitely one of those like, hey, this is definitely written by a teenager. You can see the spots where it was written by a teenager. But it
Technically,
was,
I think that one was written by. He was in his early 20s, I think, but maybe.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it was interesting. It was a fun little conceit for a book.
I thought it was good. I think it's a great.
Did you finish it?
I did. I read it.
Okay.
Yeah, I read the whole thing yesterday. I think it's a great pandemic book. Honestly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like just like an obvious death march that everyone is sort of obsessed with, like pathologizing as like an individual choice that they all made when actually
Right.
this is being done to them by a sort of like immovable structural force.
Right.
But-
Also, kind of, it's like it's a little Hunger Games ish. Right.
Or Hunger Games is a little long walkish
Yeah. True.
by a couple decades.
Yeah.
But yeah, it totally is. But yeah, I was a little. It kind of dragged for me a little bit in the middle. I was kind of like it was just moving really slow. I felt like, which makes sense because they were also moving really slow.
Because they were walking.
Because they were walking. I
mean, do you want to say what the book is about?
Yeah, it is so the premise is that they live in a version of the United States that every year holds a walk to the death among teenagers 14 to 18.
Teenagers who volunteer.
They walk,
right?
There's 100 kids and they walk until only one is not dead. And the way that you die is by slowing down and getting enough warnings that the army shoots you in the head. And then the book is about that happening. That just happens.
Right.
And that's the book. Like it really is just like there's a premise and he writes the premise from its beginning to its end.
Right.
Which is kind of like it's almost like fascinating how closely Stephen King sticks to that. Like there's really nothing else about the book except that he has a premise and he writes it as if it were true, and then it ends.
Shit.
I
I just signed in the extra rations for the ill thing and then realized I have no food. I don't even.
I don't want to
extra
talk too much
actions.
about it because I know that the Just King Things episode on it literally just dropped like 2 days ago or something.
Cool.
So,
do you know a different Stephen King podcast also came out this year or something?
Really? No, I didn't know that.
It was like on Waypoint they did their Waypoints of the year, which is basically like their non-game thing of the year, and one of their things was a different Stephen King podcast, and then they also shouted out Just King Things. Wait, what was it called?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let's send them. Let's send our. Oh, there they are. How'd you get up? How are you gonna get down? It's heartwarming to see. It's heartwarming to see families reunited after so many hardships, but shouldn't there be other settlements nearby? The first expeditions left London long ago. They ought to be well established by now. They'll surely help us find our footing. We will look for the others.
You should send your squad here right back out.
Help the amputees. Do less harm. Sir, a doctor wants to talk to you about improving radical treatment. What was the... I enacted radical treatment, which I think... I think it asks you, like, what do you want to do with the gravely ill? And the options are either basically enacting hospice care to keep them alive, but they won't get better, or you can do radical treatment, which means that people can recover from being gravely ill, but they also have a pretty high chance of dying from the treatment. And then this is a doctor that wants to basically stop being a doctor for a while so he can go and do research on how to kill less people with radical treatment. And so I
love that idea.
Give him what he needs.
Yeah, that seems like a great idea.
Yeah.
This I'm just seeing from a long time ago. Goof Troop says, in my memory, all the sub-stories in Kiwami 1 are pretty bad, which is disappointing. Bad memory. Some of them are really good. So there you go.
Oh, right. Now we have 15 or 20 new people, which means we have 15 homeless people, which means we gotta build, well, some tents, but really we want something. I mean, can we research some bunkhouses? Can we research some bunkhouses in here? Apparently not. How about we need some steel. We need steel works, and we need to employ engineers at the research place to research steel works, and then we'll do that. But for now, we'll just have people gather steel from a pile. Which pile, though? That seems.
Oh, so what I was
like
going to say about,
pile.
I was trying to remember what I was going to say about the long walk, but there's just like the section in the middle, like maybe maybe it's more like the third quarter or like the middle third of the book where it's like it felt like they had already started to scrape the bottom of the barrel in terms of like describing miserable human conditions. But there was still like 150 pages of the book left. It was like half the book. Not a super long book, like 320 pages, something like that. But like I was like halfway through, but it picks up again. And so, but it was just like this smallish section in the middle where I was like, come on, cut it out. Let's fast forward. We don't have to. Do we really have to do this in like 3-hour chunks? Can't we skip ahead a little bit into this walk?
I thought I remembered them skipping a few times.
They do, but they tended to skip in maximum 3-hour increments is what I meant. Like they'll be like, oh, I was asleep. What time is it? And it's like 7, and it was like, well, the last stuff happened at 4. So
the freak.
What's freaking happening?
How is
what's
my
freaking happening?
Why is my coal gathering.
Did you not build your gather house like you did in the last one?
No, my gather house is right there, but I guess I have all these extra people, so they need to get to work. Oh, and my medical houses. I have more engineers to be doctors now. I don't know how engineers are doctors, but it's fine.
Well, it's the... You said this is the 19th century?
It's either late 19th or early 20th.
Okay, so like these doctors are not doing real medicine almost entirely. So
sure,
that's how being a doctor is mostly just like being willing to being around sick people and also being willing to chop off their arms.
And I'm willing. Is my research not going? Why is my research not going? Oh, waiting for workers. Oh, gosh. Going to eat!
Who said they could eat?
Yeah, who said? I don't know who said they could eat. Oh, I need more people hunting. I have no food. That's the problem. Oh, the other problem is I need to build them tents. I should cancel this one. Because it's like not in the zone properly. Oh, it kind of is, whatever. Oh, but these need a road to connect them. So I will build a road like this and like this. And then they'll go and build that road.
It.
Build it.
Is your team out? Who's that? Who's all these people?
These are my hunters. Wait, who are all these people?
That's a lot of hunters.
Let's see.
Alone in this world.
Oh no, these must be. They're going to the workshop. They're going to the medical post. These must be the new people. They just took a long time to get down here or something.
Fair. They were way up there.
They
you
were way. They were.
How they were gonna get
yeah,
down.
they were way up there. In fairness. Yeah, alone in this world is how most people's families are described, which is depressing. Is anyone not alone in this world?
I would, if I were living in Frostpunk, I would try to find someplace warm.
See, Theodosia is married to James. James Trumpington. No.
Theodosia Trumpington.
Okay. Well, I desperately need more hunters. I don't need this many people.
Or like Trumpington. Got him.
Oh, wow. You fucking got him. Just forget it. Shut it all down.
He's dead now.
Oh, okay. All those people I was assigning, I thought that was all of my new workers, but I actually had a bunch more. So I think we're like good. Let's go watch them build these houses. Let's watch them build them a little faster. What was that sound? Oh, that was the end of the workday sound. People are hungry. Let's feed them. You'll have 3 days to feed everyone, or I will say let's feed them and stockpile some food. This seems extremely doable, so I'll take the chance of doing the harder one.
I think like
oh, it just
something that I don't like about how this works is like, so you've got the one that's feed them, right? And that's good. And then there's feed them and stockpile food, and you have to pick between those. And presumably if you have enough food to feed them but not enough to stockpile, it counts as a failure.
No, you can yeah, if you promise to do something and then don't do it, it does count as the people see it as a failure to deliver on the promise that that leadership made. which is it's because it's what happened. But there was a third option that was just like, I'm not gonna deal with this, which would maybe like raise discontent slightly if I said that, but it's totally a valid option. Healthcare promise broken. I guess
what I just mean is like it should be a two-tiered thing of like you have to try to feed them, and if you can stockpile extra food, great. But like if you say that you're gonna feed them and try to stockpile extra food, but you can only feed them, that still seems like a win to me.
Yeah, that's definitely like the most mechanical part of the game, but you know, I think it's modeling a real thing, which is the pressure of a leader to deliver to the people, and if the people, basically the idea is,
since when? Never seen that.
Right, exactly. The idea is that if discontent gets too high or hope gets too low, you are deposed, and then they like throw you out into the wasteland.
Would that it were true. I would love to wasteland some leaders.
Let's zip to morning. Uh-oh, the generator's shutting down. I donked it. I hecka-donked it, everybody. What happened? Ooh, I can't sign a new law yet, so I guess I'll just have to enact a 24-hour shift at the coal gathering place. But it's fine though. It's totally fine. How's our coal? All right, the coal's coming back in, so we can turn this baby back on. Nobody worry about it. We'll even kick it up. Oh, we can't kick it to overdrive because something wasn't met yet. It wasn't fully on yet. That'll help discontent a bit. Ooh, we should probably heat this place up. Why is it so cold? Because no one's working there. It's off. I forgot. Medical post. That shouldn't be off. Don't do that. The heaters for the individual things are kind of finicky, because sometimes, like these buildings here, they'll turn them off automatically if they're comfortable, because it's like, we don't need this extra heater. It's already warm here, which is great. Except then they like don't turn them back on if it gets cold, and then
you have to be monitoring?
Yeah. So we found some supplies and got some extra food and wood. And let's bring it back because we need that food. Oh, we have even more workers that can be hunters, I guess. And then we can put more people at the thingy. People are like, oh no! One of our people died suddenly during an emergency shift. We don't know what happened, but it's likely it was a heart attack. Oh boy. Do we end the emergency shift for today? Discontent will rise. I don't think I have really the option to raise discontent at this point. So I guess I'll just have to call an end to the emergency shift. Which is great because because the regular shift is about to start in 30 minutes.
Great. So no harm, no foul.
Listen,
one harm.
Listen, I'm doing my best. There's no easy options here, Keith. What am I supposed to do?
I didn't even know that you had emergency shift selected. I thought you didn't.
I did for the gathering house because oh, you mean like researched?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have emergency shift, which is a one-time 24-hour shift, which is really brutal. I prefer the more manageable extended shift, which just means you can go to a workplace and toggle on whether or not they have an extended work hours or not. And people
How many hours is the extended shift?
I think it's
14. It said. I just saw it.
Oof. 14, okay.
So wait, so you unlock the 24-hour shift before unlocking the 14-hour shift?
Well,
That's
yeah,
kinda weird, right?
it is kind of weird. It's a 24-hour emergency shift, so you can't even do it twice, like 2 days in a row. It has like a cooldown on it and everything.
Okay.
Here's my hunters coming back, right? Yeah. Hopefully they have food.
Hunters.
Yep. And soon I'll be able to make hot houses so we can grow food, and that's much more efficient than hunting.
Your discontent is flashing.
I think it's going up because more people... I think these are like flashing when they go up, so I think it's like more people are getting hungry, more people are getting sick. This is a rough time.
But none of them are serious.
Consumption. Whew. Can we... Okay, we don't need this heater on because it's warm enough. Yeah, I mean, that's what we got. That's what we got going on right now.
Can you send out another...
It's like maybe not warm enough. Warm enough might have been a stretch. It's chilly for now. We can... Sorry, what was your question?
Can you send out your hunters on another shift?
I don't think... No. These don't have like a 24-hour shift option, you know, presumably because, like, they'll be like, what do you want? The things we hunt at night aren't out during the day.
Right.
Oh, but you know what?
Do you have another search party out?
Yes, they're coming back with food right now, so that'll be good. The doctor who was trying to improve radical treatment is here. He is reporting a breakthrough. It's certainly an unorthodox method, and my learned colleagues would be appalled at the experiments I had to perform. What the fuck?
Jeez.
But it works. I expect the number of amputations during radical treatment to be halved. Oh, that's right. The radical treatment thing isn't that people will die. It's that... is that you if they need an amputation, you amputate them, but then they can't work because they're amputees. You know, and presumably they're also sad that they have less limbs than they had before.
Right.
But you can also invent prosthetics.
I'm trying to conceptualize what he means by his, like, colleagues will be appalled.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough people here where he was secretly cutting off limbs to do tests.
Right.
So, like, what could he have been doing?
Maybe
I guess that's why they had to imply it, because there isn't really anything
right
for him to have been doing that was so bad.
Yeah. We're coming up at the end of our time here, because we only have a few minutes left. I would really like to get the hunger down before we end, though. That'd be great. And there we have
Scouts
some food.
have number one.
There we go. Our hunger is going down already because we got some food in. And there, feed all the hungry. It's going up.
Oh, and look, it's kind of warm out today.
It's kind of warm out today. We can turn off overdrive to save structure on the heater, but we have cold homes. This one I took to mostly ignoring because I got into serious trouble trying to... I got in serious trouble promising to heat people's houses and then being woefully unable to meet that. Like I just can't address it right now because I just don't have the excess coal necessary. We would just get fucked.
And they did not like it.
Yeah, so we have 9 hungry, but 0 starving. So, you know, obviously people will progress from hungry to starving. Yeah.
Still going down. Look at that. No hungry.
No hungry, baby. But now I also said we would stockpile food, and that's what we're going to do in the morning when these people
You're
get
at
back.
8 out of 55, it looks like, for food stockpile.
Gonna send them out to the sturdy shelter. Yeah, so this is great. The main campaign here. I mentioned like the Londoners scenario, and there's also a few other like baked in story bits of the primary scenario that were really fun. I don't really want to give them away in case anyone who hasn't played it is interested in checking it out. It was a fun time. I love Frostpunk. It's great. Don't kill too many people from amputation research.
Your other big thing there is the sick, but it looks like you can increase capacity on the tent there. No, don't sign that. You're gonna lose.
That's fine.
Look at that. Look at.
Hey, what? 10 hours isn't enough. Yeah, whatever. We're heading out. It's the end. We did feed everyone though, so. I love this pause menu effect. How it, like the frost spreading out on the glass. It's good. That's Frostpunk, Keith.
That's Frostpunk.
That's Frostpunk. Here's Anne Desmond, 37, London refugee, medical helper, and mother to Claire.
Shoutouts to Claire.
Shoutouts to Claire. Big shoutouts to Claire.
Claire, you know what you did?
Hey, Claire. Sorry about your mom. I overworked them to death gathering coal, and I apologize. But I think that just about wraps it up, Keith.
Yeah, it does.
What do we say when we end the show? We're like,
you can support the show by going to contentburger.biz. That's our Patreon. You can sign up for our Patreon to get our Shenmue Let's Play, Shenmue 2 ongoing Patreon Let's Play. We've also got our Shenmue 1 Let's Play that is really good.
Our Yakuza 1 Let's Play.
Right? Yeah, you can watch us not like the original Yakuza.
We liked it. That's not fair.
We liked it. The game didn't like us.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, we quit because it was too hard.
Oops. Oh, I forgot to say.
Not because it was too hard, because it was too stupid easy and boring, and sometimes was extremely hard for no reason.
Oh, that's why the music was too quiet. But sorry, Game of the Year Part 2 just came out. So that's out now on the podcast feed and the YouTube channel, so go check it out. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Oh, yeah, watch Game of the Year. Watch both of those.
Yeah.